All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. You're welcome to this life-changing presentation. Please, if you know your team members are not here, quickly remind them to join us as soon as they can. Because this is a session that everybody needs to be here to understand how they can use their Rqtmi settings to be able to maximize their profit. Because if you don't know how to use the settings the right way, you will not get the results you desire. Okay, so each and every one of you needs to understand how to set up your trade with the right settings so that you'll be able to see the results you desire. But before we get started, please, I want to inform you guys, for those who are the newbies, if you are yet to subscribe to our channel, please do so. Why? Because all the sessions that have been held in the past are all uploaded on the YouTube channel. All you need to do is to go to YouTube and search for Team Motion International. You'll find our channel there, click on it, and then you subscribe by tapping on the bell icon. Okay, you subscribe. So in the future, anytime we upload a video, you are going to be notified so that you can go and watch it if you have not. We have everything here you're looking for, okay? All the videos you need to learn from are all here. They are all uploaded on the YouTube channel, okay? So you can just go and watch them on your own. And then you come and ask questions when it is time for our Zoom sessions. You can see everything you're looking for is here. If it's trading without analysis, if it's learning how to trade yourself when you analyze trades yourself, if it's understanding the Rqtmi Excel templates, introduction to Rqtmi, all the sessions that have been held in the past, and a lot of information are here. Please take notes about that. All right. So let's move on to the topic of the day, which is understanding the Rqtmi Excel template. This is a very, very important topic. Like I said, every one of you needs to understand. This is the first thing you need to understand before even jumping to start trading. Okay, why is this important? Because when you have a trading capital, you might not know the right setting to use or how to even go about it. That is why you need this. And Rqtmi, which is the Motion International, have been able to make this very easy for everyone by providing you guys an Excel template. Some of you will say, but why do I need an Excel template? It's because we understood in the past what was people's challenge, and then we tried our best to try to make it to be very, very simplified, not complicated to every one of you, or every one of us. So this template is just for you to slot in your capital, and then it will generate the settings that you will go and save in your Rqtmi back office. And that settings can be used to trade, to pick any trade that you want to trade. Remember, Rqtmi is a semi-automated bot, which means you need to give the bot some set of instructions, some set of commands. Now, it is those commands that the robot will now make use of to trade for you to be automated. Some of us will say, okay, but why do I need to set this bot when you are telling me that the robot does everything for me? Yes, it does everything for you. Almost 90% of everything is done by the robot. But you need to be the one to set the bot by yourself while the robot takes over from you. Please, I hope every one of you can hear me loud and clear. If you can hear me loud and clear, just to be sure I am not talking to myself, please confirm with a 111 on the chat. Confirm with a 111 on the chat. Okay, I can only see one person who has responded to, okay? Only two. Awesome, awesome. All right, so every one of you can hear me loud and clear. So let's move on. Now, before you open the Excel sheet, somebody is writing on my screen. Please, if you are that person, please kindly stop it. Kindly stop it. The first thing you need to install before you have access to the Excel template is to go to your Play Store or App Store to download an app called WPS Office. Yes, WPS Office is an app that would allow you to be able to edit the templates, because at some point there's a place where you need to slot in your trading capital to generate the settings for you. So please, if you don't have the app installed on your phone, go to your Play Store or App Store and search for WPS Office. Now, let me write it on my screen. WPS Office. WPS Office is the name of, not offices, please, Office is the name of the app. You will find it on the App Store or Play Store. Once you're done, you now open the Excel template with the app. Okay, if you don't have the app, the Excel template, please request for it on the group you got the Zoom link from. Now, the first thing you need to understand is what we have on the dashboard. You can see on the dashboard we have Rqtmi Magic 1, Magic 2, Magic 1, Magic 2, Magic 3, Magic 4, down to Magic 8. You can see it down to Magic 8. All these are different types of settings, okay? And it all depends on your trading capital that will determine which of the settings you are to make use of. And also, some settings here are for the bull season, while some settings are for the bear season. You know, the bull season comes every 4 years, right? And now we are in the bull season. We are in the bull season. So the settings definitely we are to make use of is going to be the settings for the bull season, which is Magic 1, Magic 3, and then we have what? The Magic 5. The Magic 5. The Magic 5. So these are the three settings we are going to be making use of. So I'll show you guys the right way to make use of Magic 1 settings, Magic 3 settings, and Magic 5 settings. But before we dive in on how to make use of these settings, take note, for the Magic 1, you can see there is a statement here, covers for what? 30% dip. Magic 3 covers for 25% dip. And Magic 5 covers for 50% dip. Please, at some point, you might want to take some notes. So ensure you are taking notes. So when it gets to the time to ask questions, please do ask questions. Don't keep your questions to yourself. Ask questions. The more you ask questions, the more you understand this business. RealQ is a knowledge-based business. Focus on the knowledge. It is the knowledge that brings in more money. It is not a system that you just want to drop in and you're not interested in learning anything. Please, 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 this is not the place for that. If you really want to see the result you desire, you need to pay attention and learn. And there are a lot of strategies out there you can make use of. Every strategy makes you money, okay? The goal is to make money, but just don't get yourself too confused. Jump here, jump there. Pick a strategy you like and pay attention to understand it. Be that person who is doing one thing 10,000 times. That is how you gain mastery. You are doing one thing 10,000 times is how you get mastery of whatever you are doing. So take note about that. All right, so what I'm trying to say now is for the Magic 1, there's a statement here that says covers for 30% dip. What does this mean? It means that RealQ has an amazing features that makes you money downtrend because the market needs to come down first before it starts to go up, right? So since you know this, the robot is a quantitative robot. It knows the market. So it will not make use of all your capital to buy that coin that is trading for you because the robot knows that the price might come back down first before going up, right? So it will be making use of your capital bit by bit, depending on the instructions given to the robot. That is where the Rqtmi settings comes in, because this settings was built by our previous experience, okay? By our previous experience since 2021. And we know that, yes, the market will come down first before going up, because people must always take profit. Even if in the bull run, people must take profit. So always ensure you are making use of risk management. Don't go and put in all your capital on a coin without the right risk management. So since the robot knows that the market will come down first, the robot has a special feature called margin calls, okay, which it uses that to do what we call the martingale strategy. It buys bit by bit from your capital. Let's say your capital is $100. It will distribute this $100 in margin calls. When the price is dipping, going down, it will keep buying to accumulate you more units. Now, that is where more money is being made. This is what you cannot find on all those centralized exchange like Binance, Bybit, Obi, and what have you. You cannot find these futures there. Some people say, I can still do this on my Binance. Why must I use Rqtmi? Go and use Binance, and you see the difference. That is clear. You cannot compare trading with Rqtmi and trading by yourself manually on an exchange. We have access to these futures. And remember, this is fully automated. So when the price is going down, it keeps buying until the price goes down to minus 30% dip. If you're using Magic One, that is when the whole of your $100 is already used to buy that coin that the robot is trading for you. Please, are you guys understanding what I'm saying? If you have been understanding and following up with what I'm saying, please let me see a yes on the chat. If you have been understanding what I've been saying, let me see a yes on the chat. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So another important thing I am here to see people ask questions on is, what is the advantage of margin calls? What is the advantages of margin calls? Margin calls makes you money downtrend. Margin calls helps you to reduce floating loss. Margin calls helps you to come out of a trade faster. You cannot compare somebody who uses margin calls and somebody who trades without margin calls. The person who uses margin calls will come out of that trade faster before any other person who does not use margin calls. This should be well noted, please. That is why trading without margin calls is a high risk. It will take, you're not losing money, but it might take you a longer time for that trade to completely sell off. How about what happens when the robot buys all the margin calls, but it is still dipping? Another question. I am using questions to, some of your questions to answer them on this session, okay? So that by the time I will have been done, maybe most of the questions will be answered, okay? So what happens when the robot buys all the margin calls and all your capital is already on that trade, but you have some spare funds out there sitting in your exchange? Do you know that you can also open more margin call? This is what exchanges don't have access to. You can also use your spare funds that is just sitting in your exchange to open more margin calls and continue enjoying making money downtrend, depending on when the price starts to go back up to sell and leave the market for you. That is where we have the Magic 2 and also Magic 1. Yes, you can use either Magic 2 or Magic 1 for opening of margin calls. Please take note, for opening of margin call, but we highly recommend Magic 2 for opening of margin calls, which I will talk about this as we proceed. But take note about that. The essence of opening more margin calls is, let's say, for example, your margin call has all been bought up, but you have spare funds out there. Yes, you can use either Magic 2 or Magic 1 to open more margin calls, But take note of the minimum capital of the Magic 2 and Magic 1. You must ensure you have the minimum capital that can carry Magic 2 settings or Magic 1 settings so that you can open more margin calls. So now let's move on to Magic 1. You understand covers for 30% dip. It's the same thing as the Magic 3, which is covers for 25% dip, and also Magic 5. Whatever I explained on the Magic 1 is the same thing that applies for the Magic 3 and Magic 5 on the covers for 30% dip, covers for 25% dip, and covers for 50% dip. So let's move on to Magic 1. How do you generate settings on the Magic 1 setting? Now, this is Magic 1 settings. Please pay attention. For the Magic 1 settings, there is a bold statement here. You all can see there is a bold statement here that says what? The minimum capital is $320. That is for Magic 1 settings. This means for you to make use of Magic 1 settings, you have to have a minimum of $320 and above. But what is the recommendation for Rqtmi? We say trade at least minimum 3 to 10 coins. Minimum number of coins should be 3 to 10. We are not saying you cannot trade 1 or 2. But if you have capital that can trade 3 coins, please do so by trading the 3 coins with your capital. If you have capital that can trade 4 coins or 5 coins or 6 coins, all depends on your capital. Do not have capital that can trade 5 coins and you go and trade 1 coin. Do not have capital that can trade 3 coins and you go and trade 1 coin. No, that is not a good risk management. Okay? That is not a good risk management. So for the Magic 1 setting, since you now know that, okay, since you now know that, okay, I can trade 3 coins if I have capital that can cover for 3 coins. Let's say you have a capital of $1,000, for example. You don't know the right settings either to use Magic 1, Magic 3, or Magic 5. You're confused that, okay, which settings will I even make use of now that I have $1,000 capital? It is very easy. Okay, let's make it $1,200, for example. It is very easy. All you need to do is to divide 1,200 by 3 to see if you can actually trade 3 coins with this capital. And when you do that, it will give you 400. Remember, you go to your Magic 1. What is the minimum capital again? 320 and above. Okay, so since now I have 400, it means that I can trade 3 coins with 400, right? Because, of course, 400 times 3 will give you 1,200. Very simple and straightforward. So now that you know this, how do you now get the settings from this Magic 1 settings? Please pay attention. All you need to do is to tap on where you have the remark column. You can see the remark in green color. You slot in your capital per coin, which is 400. But before you do so, what is the first buy amount for Magic 1? Is 20. And first buy amount is the first amount that the robot will make use of to buy that coin that it wants to trade for you. That does not mean that it will be using 20, 20, 20. No, please. I will explain as we move on. But it is referring to that it is the first amount that will be deducted from that your $400 capital to start that trade for you. But before we slot in, so sorry, please let me quickly. Please, am I still audible? My headset disconnected. Am I still audible? confirm if you can hear me. I never knew I was not talking with my headset, but people didn't complain. It seems I was still very audible, but I believe I am more audible now. Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Awesome. So let's proceed, please. So now that you know that it is 400, right? Before you start in the 400, please, there's this little math you do. You say 400 minus the first buy. 400 minus the first buy, which is 20, minus 20. It will give you 380. This means that 380 is what you are to slot in on the remark. On this remark column, you tap on it, you tap on edit. For mobile phones, you tap on edit. It will allow you to edit it. Please take note that you are tapping on the right column. Every other column is locked. Only this remark can be edited. So tap on this remark, then you write 380 because that is what you got when you subtracted 20 from 400. And then there's another way you can confirm this if what you're doing is right. Just scroll down to where you have magic configuration, go down to multiple buying ratio, go down, down, down. You will notice that you have the 400 here, and this will tell you that you are correct. This will tell you that you are correct. So what is the next thing to do from here? You go to your RoyoQ and you impute these parameters one after the other, which I'll show you how to do that. But for now, let's finish up all these parts, okay? I'll show you how to get the settings for Magic 1, 3, and 5. Then we head over to RoyoQ and I'll show you how to copy these settings and save it on your RoyoQ. So what you have to do here is to impute all the parameters you see here. Everything you see here is what you are going to save on your RoyoQ. So this template makes the work very easy for you. You don't need to start cracking your head and all that. Just understand how to slot in your capital the right way. That is it. And how to distribute your capital accordingly to know which settings to make use of. I know it's easy, right? For those who are joining us late, please don't worry. This session is being recorded. You can have a rewatch on the replay to understand it better. Okay, so now that you understand this, before we move on to Magic 3, take note that these settings, we call it the default settings, the Rqtmi default settings. And what it means is that these settings makes you money up and down trend, up and down trend. That is what it means. Even when the market is bearish, as long as you're using the default settings, you're going to be making some sub sales, which is called sub sales profit. Those sub sales will give you sub sell profit. So you'll be making profit even when the market is bearish. And we have the Rqtmi bull tactics category 1 and 2. But we are going to go through the default settings first, then I'll show you how to make use of the bull tactics and how to combine both to maximize your profits. So for the risk type here on these settings, risk type, we have radical, we have steady, we have conservative. But what we make use of here is radical. It is not really something that is holy grail. It's just that you are trying to tell the robot to be very aggressive in buying and selling. That is what radical means. So radical means to be very aggressive in buying and selling. Now, for the remark, on the RoyoQ, we also have what we call remark, but that of the RoyoQ is just to tell you that you find out that it is written on it that optional, which means you don't need it, okay? But I will advise you that please, you need it. Why? You can give that settings a description or a title so that you will know which settings, which which capital the settings is for. Which capital the settings is for. Okay, so in this case, I'll name this on RealQ $400 capital. You can even add default to it because it is the default settings. Now, for the first buy, I have explained this. I said this is the first amount that the robot will be making use of to buy that coin for you. That does not mean that it will be using 2020. No, please.
We are going to talk about this when we get to margin configuration. You find out that it will make use of more than this 20. Okay, when the price keeps on dropping down for the margin calls. Now, for the open position double, it is saying don't enable because we don't need this. We don't make use of this. So we don't enable this. By default, you will find out that on RioQ, it is already turned off. So just leave it the way it is. But AI margin call is enabled. We don't need this as well. We already have our manual margin calls, right? So we turn this off. This controls how it buys, but we already have this manually done. So we turn it off. It doesn't make any sense turning this on. We already have ours on the settings. Now, what is the next thing from here? Margin call limit. This is the number of margin calls the robot will buy for you, meaning that it will distribute whatever capital you're using. In this case, we are making use of $400 as a reference, right? It means it will divide this 400 in 20 places and buy 20 times for you, depending on how the market or the price action behaves. That is how it will buy for you, but it will buy 20 times for margin calls until after it buys 20 margin calls, it means that all the $400 will be used to buy that coin. Whole position take profit ratio. What does this mean? This is the final TP, the final take profit. What do I mean by the final take profit? Now, let's go to the margin configuration so that I'll explain something here, so that it will be very clear for you all. Now, for the margin configuration, you can see we have first to the first call, right? Then we have the first buy, which I said is 20. When the robot buys the first buy, which I always call it FB, this is not Facebook. Oh. I'm referring to first buy, okay? Now, first buy means the first amount, which I explained, that will be used from your capital to buy that coin. That is when the robot will start to trade for you. That will show you that, okay, my trade has picked up by the robot and my trade is ongoing. It is running, it is trading for me. When it buys with the first buy, the price now starts to drop down by 0.2%, minus 0.2%. It will trigger and it will tell robot, please buy the first call for me, the first margin call for me. But this time around, with how much? It will say 0.4 times, what is the first buy? 20. This 20 is the first buy. So it will multiply whatever you have here on the multiple buying ratio, which is 0.4 for this case, multiply by 20. When we do the maths, let's do the maths. 0.4 multiplied by 20 will give you what? 8, meaning that it will use $8 to buy the first call. That does not mean that it will use $8 to buy all. Take note. Now, if the price drops down again instead of going up by what this time around? By 0.5%, which is minus 0.5%. It drops down again in price. It will trigger and tell robot, buy again for me. This time around, the second call with 1.5 multiple buying ratio. Now, this means that the robot will use 1.5 multiplied by first buy, which will give you 30. You can see this time around is $30. So in this case, what has been used to buy the first buy, first and second call? First buy is 20. First call is $8. Now, second call is 30. Okay? Now, the fourth call will be what again? The fourth call will be 8. Right? Sorry, the third call. The third call is 0.4 times 20 again. So it's another 8. Then the fourth call. Now, let me take out this so that people understand very well. Remember, what I did here was to multiply 0.4 times 20. It gave us $8. But don't forget the first buy, which was 20. First call, 8. Second call is 1.5 times 20 again, which is 30. Okay, second call. Now, third call, another 0.4, which is 8. What is now the fourth call? Sorry, fourth call. Fourth call. The fourth call is another 1.5 times 20, which will give you 30. So which is 30. Now, this robot takes the first buy first to the fourth call as a single entity. It is not selling separately. It wants to sell everything together. So it will combine everything in total and sell once together. That is what I mean by single entity. So the robot makes use of the first buy down to the fourth call and sees it as a single entity. So any amount that was used to buy the first buy down to the fourth call, it is what it gives you profit as the final profit when it is selling. So in this case, when we calculate 20, I want to make sure I break this down for everybody because it's very important to understand this. 20 plus 8 plus 30 plus 8 plus 30 will give you $96. This means that when the robot buys the first buy down to the fourth call, $96 is already on that coin. Now, this brings us to the what? What I was trying to explain here. This brings us to what I was trying to explain here, which is the whole position take profit ratio. You can see we have 3%. So it means 3% of what? $96 profit. Whatever you use here, if it's 1.5%, if it's 5%, it means that this is the final TP of what was used to buy the first buy down to the fourth call as a single entity if you are on sub-bin real-time settlement. Okay? Why the remaining fifth call downward? Why the remaining fifth call downward are single entity each? All these are single entity each. Each. What do I mean by each? Each of them are single entity. Time the robot buys the fifth call, this is where it will start to make money for you downtrend, downtrend, uptrend, downtrend, as long as it falls in between the fifth call downward. If it goes beyond the fifth call, it will not sell, it will wait to go and sell everything together once it wants to hit the final take profit, which is 3%. Please, at this stage, is this understood? At this point, I am. Is this understood? Let me see a yes or a no. Don't worry. By the time you have a rewatch on the session, it's going to be very clear. It is not difficult as you may think. It is not difficult, but this is very important to understand because this is how the money is being made by the robot in your exchange. And this is how the robot distributes your capital accordingly to trade for you. So it's very important you know what is happening at the back office. Don't just sit and say, oh, my robot is trading. But do you know what is happening at the back of your office? Awesome. So let's proceed, please. So this means that from the fifth call downward are all single entity. Now, this is what I mean. Let's say it uses 0.4 to buy, which is $8. It uses 1.5 again to buy, which is $30, $8, $30. Then at the eighth call, the price now starts to reverse back up, right? It wants to start reversing back up. It will start to sell each of them singly. It will sell whatever it used to buy, which is $30 for this case, and give you whatever take profit that you're using. If it's 1.3% take profit, it give you 1.3% of $30, 1.3% of $8, 1.3% of $30, 1.3% of $8. By the time it gets here, let's say for example, it gets back to the fifth call. Instead of going up, it came down again. It should do the same thing, buy again, sell again, buy again, sell again. This is how you're making money downtrend. It can even come down more, can come down further before going up. This is why you notice that your robot is making money for you downtrend. You start to see sub-sell, 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 sub-sell. This is the power of the margin calls. And this is the amazing features on RealQ that you cannot find elsewhere. I hope this is well understood. Now, I believe I've done justice to the margin configuration. Now, let's move on to the next, which is going to be what? Who position take profit callback? Some people don't understand this. Please, it is very easy. Now, take note that this is for this final take profit. Hear the word, hold position, take profit callback. When you hear this, what rings in your mind or in your head? It tells you that, okay, callback means pullback, right? Callback means retracement. We are talking about take profit here, which this one, I said it is the final take profit. So, which means that if the final take profit is 3% and the price drops above 3%, what will Royal Q do? Royal Q will not sell. It will not sell. It will hold your position patiently to wait for whatever you are making use of on these settings. Why we use 0.01 is for it to sell to quickly take out the bigger profit it's making for you. So let's say it goes above 3% and even went to 3.5 or more percent. Once there's a retracement of 0.01% in the price, that is where Royal Q will now sell and give you your profit, making you more profit. This is amazing, right? Tell me how you can achieve this if you're trading on your own, your Binance or Bybit. It is not possible, guys. It is not. All these things are done hands-free by the robots. Now, let's move on to buy in callback. Buy in callback. This is how it buys those margin calls. The same thing goes, it has to what? See a retracement of 0.01% before it will trigger and buy those margin calls one after the other. Simple. Now, what about the distributed take profit allocation? Now, this is, remember, I said from the fifth call downward is where it makes money for you downtrend. But they are all single entity. Each of them, fifth call, single entity, sixth call, single entity. Now, this is the take profit. It will give you when it wants to sell those single entity before going to the next margin call, when it is the price starts to go up, meaning that it has started reversing back up. Not more downtrend. Now the price action has switched to uptrend. It is now by selling those margin calls it bought for you. Those quantity of that coin, those units of that coin it bought at a discount price for you, it will now start to sell them each and give you 1.3% take profit on each of those positions it bought for you. Now, how about the sub position take profit callback? Same thing applies to what I explained on these two. If it goes above the 1.3%, it will wait for a retracement or a pullback of 0.01% before it will sell, making you more profit, which is amazing. Now, what is the strategy mode? We have two types of strategy mode. We have the circle strategy and we have the one-shot strategy. Now, when you hear circle and when you hear one-shot, what comes to your mind? Circle means your trade is on circle. It will keep buying, selling, which means it is fully on autopilot. You don't need to do anything. Once you set up your trade, it will keep buying, selling for you. Now, this is what we recommend for those who don't have time. If you don't have time, you must have money, right? So we have a minimum capital to trade with Circle. All right, so take note about that. We don't just use this only for those who don't have time, but they have a very good capital, which is 3675. 3675 is the minimum capital to trade on Circle, just for you to get the kind of results you want. At least you see results. That's why we recommend you to trade with 3675 if you're going for the Circle, but we are not talking about this in this session, okay? And you trade 7 coins with this, and we have settings for this. But what we are focused on in this session is one shot. And one shot makes you more money than Circle. Yes, of course. One shot will also make you more money than those using Circle. So one shot means that it is a one-time trade. Once it hits the final take profit, it will close that trade and leave the market and wait for you to set up a new trade. When you set up a new trade, it also sells again by hitting the final take profit. It will leave the market again, return the capital and profit back to your exchange, and then you have that capital to trade another coin. this is what we refer to as a one shot, and that is what we use for this setting. So ensure you switch from circle to one shot. Now, I believe I've done justice to every parameters here, and it is fully understood. Like I said, for those who joined last or late, should go and watch the recording. Now, let's move on to Magic 3. For Magic 3, I'll quickly do this because I've taken my time to explain everything we have on Magic 1. It is similar to Magic 3 and 5. But take note, how you use the capital on these settings is not the same as Magic 1. I will explain. Let's say, for example, you have a capital of $600. You don't know which settings to make use of. Somebody said they can't hear me. Please, I believe I am audible. If you cannot hear me, King Mubarak, please check your audio or check your network. It should be from your network. I believe every one of you can hear me loud and clear. So King Mubarak, if you cannot hear me, please, you can leave the meeting and join back. Somebody can just chat him up, please. Just reply him and tell him to switch and join back. Awesome, King Daniel. Thank you very much. Let's proceed, please. So if you have a capital of 600, please divide it by 3 and see if you can trade 3 coins with which of the settings we have Magic 1, 3, or 5. You can now see 600 gives you 200. This means that you cannot trade this with Magic 1 because Magic 1 says 320 and above. But how about Magic 3? What does Magic 3 say? Magic 3 says minimum capital is 100 and above. So this means that this is a very good fit for this capital, which is 600. Magic 3 is a very good fit to trade with the $600 capital, meaning you can trade 3 coins, 200 each per coin. Don't go beyond this because the capital can only trade 3 coins, which is 200 per coin. But how do you now slot in this capital? I said it is not the same as Magic 1. Magic 3 is not the same as Magic 1 when slotting the capital to get the settings. Now, this is how you do it. For Magic 3, you are not subtracting the first buy, which is 15 here. Just slot in the whole of the 200 on the remark. So you tap on the remark, tap on edit, and then you write 200. That is it. Then for you to confirm if you're right, you go down and you see 200 here. This shows that you are correct. Simple. And then you go to your RealQ to save your settings. To save your setting, which I'll show you very soon. Okay. Just ensure everything here is well inserted on your back office. Then you now save the settings. This is for Magic 3. Now let's move to Magic 5. How about Magic 5? How do you make use of Magic 5? It is boldly written here that trade with what? Minimum capital of $520, which means 520 and above. Now you have a capital of, let's say, $2,000, right? You have a capital of $2,000. Oh, shit. Okay, give me a second. You have a capital, okay, of $2,000. You don't know which settings to make use of. Now, let's try dividing by 3 first, or and 4. 3 will give you what? 666. How about 4? 4 coins. 4 coins will give you what? 500. 500 is very close to make use of Magic 5 because Magic 5 is 520 and above, which means if you want to trade 4 coins, you can just easily go and trade with Magic 1. But take note, Magic 1 is better than Magic 3. Magic 5 is better than Magic 1 and Magic 3. In fact, Magic 5 is the best settings to make use of. I am telling you, Magic 5 is the best settings to make use of, which I will explain. I will explain why I said so. But if you cannot trade Magic 5, please go ahead trade Magic 1. If you cannot trade with Magic 1 settings, trade your Magic 3 settings with your Magic 3 settings. Keep on trading. Maybe if more funds come in, you can always increase your capital and then you switch to another settings. Whatever you have, start with that first. Use that to understand the business, and you can always increase your capital. You don't need to wait till you have capital for Magic 5 before you start. Start with what you have first. You still make money. I believe if that money is still in your bank account, your local bank account, 1 naira will not enter. So in this case, let's trade 3 coins with Magic 3, with Magic 5, I mean. Let's trade 3 coins with magic 5. So when you say 2000 divided by 3, it will give you 666. In this case, to get the settings for magic 5, it is the same process with magic 1. Magic 5 and magic 1 is the same process, but magic 3, you are not subtracting anything, just impute the capital on remark. So for this magic 5, we say 666 minus the first buy. 666 minus the first buy, which is 20, will give you 646. Now, you write 646 here. 646. For you to be sure and confirm if you're right, go down again to margin configuration. You notice that you have 666 here. Simple and clear. This tells you that, yes, I am correct. What I'm doing, I am correct. Now, you go to your RealQ and you save the settings. The reason why I said Magic 5 is the best is because by the time it buys the first buy the first to the fourth call, sorry, let me draw this again. By the first to the fourth call, 50% of your capital is already used to buy that coin that is trading for you. Which means, of course, if you want to hit the final take profit, whatever capital that was used, half of it is what it will give you profit when it sells. So this means Magic 5 is best. Why the remaining 50% of the capital will be distributed from the 5th call down to the 24th call, because it's 24 margin call limit for Magic 5. I hope this is clear. I hope this is clear. I can see somebody dropping a very, I can see somebody is dropping something on the chat. We just caught on my attention, and when I went through it, I'm just laughing. Please just ignore what that person drops. The person is just an idiot. Sorry to use that word. Okay, let me just see if I can fish out that person and take him out of the session. Just give me a second, please. Okay, I can see Danny the Heck. Okay, good one. Okay, okay, he has one left. Better. I'll have taken him out so that he will not ever gain access to this session.
Coach,
Please
I
just
removed
ignore
him.
those
I
messages.
removed him myself.
Okay, okay, thank you. Those are the ignorance people we have.
I just
Okay.
observed. I just.
All right, thank you very much, Coach Amino. All right, let's move on, please. Now that you know this, the next thing to do is to go to your RoyalQ. Like I said, you go to your RoyalQ and you save these settings. Permit me to share my screen on my mobile phone so that we can both save these settings together. So I'll be using the Magic 5 as a reference to save the settings on RoyalQ. So let me quickly go to share my mobile screen. Give me a second, please. Okay. Okay, I'm about to share my screen. We are coming back to the computer because I need to show you guys the bull tactics. But for now, let me walk you through how you can save the settings on your RoyalQ. So I'm about to share my screen now. I believe every one of you can now see my screen. I believe every one of you can now see my screen. Please, can you see my screen? Okay, okay. Now, let's head to RoyalQ. Let's head to RoyalQ. So when you come to RoyalQ, the first thing you need to do is to tap on mine. You tap on mine. You see mine, bottom right of my screen. For those who can't see it, let me show you. You tap on mine, bottom right of my screen. Now, when you tap on mine, it takes you to another page. You go down and you tap on what we have here, which is called my strategy settings. My strategy settings. You tap on my strategy settings. It will now show you, I already have settings saved here. But if this is your first time, it will be blank, of course. Now, the next thing to do is to tap on the plus icon at the top right of my screen. You see the plus icon, tap on it. It will open up that same page that you have on the Excel template. That same page you have on the Excel template is what you are going to see here. Now, to make this very easy, you go back to the Excel template, you tap on risk type here. You can see on RioQ, it says risk type. You already have what to use on the Excel, and the Excel says use radical for your risk type. You tap on the risk type here. If you find the risk type here, you tap on this steady to switch from steady to radical, because the Excel says use radical. Now, let's tap on steady and you see what happens. You can see it brought out three options. One is radical, two is conservative, and the last one is steady. Remember, I said the reason for radical is for the robot to be aggressive in buying and selling. So we are to switch to radical. Just tap on radical and you say sure, because it is saying switching the risk type will change the default value to the strategy settings. Do you want to switch? You tap on sure. Of course, you want to switch. Now, the next is remark. I talked about the remark on RoyoQ. Give it a name. Give these settings a name, a description. In this case, I will say $600 capital. Is it 666? $666 capital. I can name it default. Simple. What is the first buy amount? First buy amount says use 20. Change the 15 to 20. Open position double, don't enable, switch off. It is turned off already by default. AI margin call is enabled. The template says don't enable. Please tap on it to turn off. Just tap on it. It will turn off. Margin call limit 24. Switch to 24. Remember, we are making use of the magic 5. $666 capital. Whole position take profit ratio, which is the final take profit, 3%. You can edit this anytime you are trading a coin. Let's say the take profit is 5% or 1.5% or 2%. Once you load these settings, you can always edit this before you save. So take note about that, but we're using 3% to just be a default. So you can edit this anytime you want when you are about to trade. Take note about that. Whole position take profit callback. Remember, we say use 0.01. Right? What is the next thing from here? Margin configuration. Let this be the last thing to do. So let's jump this. We come back to this data when we are done with the rest. Buy in callback 0.01. Distributed take profit allocation. This is from the fifth call. You can see down to the last call. You can see fifth call down to the last call. So for Magic 5, it says use 1.8%, 1.8, 1.8, 1.8. You put 1.8 all through till you get to the last sub position, which is 24. Let's assuming we are done putting the 1.8. Just to save time, I won't be able to do all this. Tap on sure when you are done inserting the right parameters. Now, what is the next thing from here? Sub position take profit callback, right? It says on the template, use 0.01. You change this again to 0.01. Now, very important here, strategy period. You switch it from cycle to one shot by tapping on the cycle. Just tap on cycle, it will switch. Now, let me do that. You can see it switched immediately. So now it is on one shot. This is the right strategy that it's supposed to be on based on what you have on the Excel template. Now let's move on to the last step here, which will be the margin configuration. Now you tap on margin configuration and you go to the margin configuration settings you have on the template. And you put in the same parameters on the Excel. For Magic 5, what we have is 0.2, 0.5, 0.2. Now, this reminds me of those iPhone users. You know, iPhone users, their phones are kind of special. Most of their things are totally different from Android. So when it gets to iPhone users, when you notice that you are on the ninth call on the Excel template, it will tell you to use 1.87. But for iPhone users, you cannot make use of 1.87. You have to approximate. You cannot use two decimals after the how's it called again? Two decimal points. It has to be one decimal point. Okay, so you approximate to 1.9 instead of 1.87. Only Android users will use 1.87, just like you have it on the Excel. So let's say if it's 2.1, 2.17, we have 2.17 on the 10th call. Let's say the 10th call now is 2.17. You approximate to what? 2.2 for iPhone users. So take note about that, please. Only for iPhone users. So you impute all these things just the way you have on the template, and then you save. You also do same for the multiple buying ratio. On the Magic 5 is 1.6, 6.5. Just make sure you put in everything you have on the Excel after slotting in your capital. Don't go and put in what you're having there without distributing your capital according to know what capital you are going to use on the Excel to generate the settings for you, the right settings for you. This is how you save your settings. So let's assume tap on show. You tap on show. Okay, I did something here. You tap on show, and then you tap on save. Save. This is how you save your settings. Simple and clear. So now that you're done saving your settings, you can now go and trade, which we have a script on that. We have a script on that, and I think we have a lot of videos that shows you how to trade, The last session we did last week, which is on Friday, you can go to the YouTube channel to check. I showed you guys how to trade after you saved your settings, depending on the coin you want to trade. If it's Signal, if you analyze yourself, how you go to search for this coin, how you load the settings on the coin, how you edit the take profit, if you're using a different take profit, and then you start the trade. I showed all that. I even showed how to do manual replenishment, which is also called manual buy for those using the bull tactics. Okay, now let's switch back to my computer. I want to quickly round up so that we are going to take questions. Please, if you have questions, once it is time for questions, ask questions. Don't be shy, please. Now, let me switch back to my computer. Screen one, okay. Right, so I believe you can see my screen now. I believe you can see my screen. It is coming up. Yes, I believe you can all see my computer screen. All right, now I just showed you guys how to go about the Rqtmi default settings, which is Magic 1, Magic 3, and Magic 5, all depending on your capital. Now, let me show you another strategy we use, which is the settings we use to maximize your profit. And I'll show you how you can combine both, which is called the Rqtmi bull tactics. Bull tactics. Category 1 and 2. We have 1 and 2. I'll explain how you use 1 and explain how you use 2, and then tell you the difference between the 1 and 2, and show you how you combine the bull tactics with the default settings, with the Rqtmi default settings. Now, let's move on to the bull tactics category 1. What is bull tactics category 1? What is the Rqtmi bull tactics category 1? Now, making use of the Magic 5 as a reference, when you hear bull tactics, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? It means that this settings is used during the bull season, right? Yes. These settings can only be used for the bull season. But when you hear the bull tactics category 1 and 2, the differences from the bull tactics category 1, who is this person? I'll take this person out. He's trying to take over my screen. Coach Aminu, please take the Sogon, this nurse. Take him out, please. He's trying to take over my screen.
All right, sir. I will do that now.
Just take him out. Take him out. I cannot have access to this group anymore. Sogon, just take him out, please. All right, thank you. Please, one very important thing here. I noticed that you guys drop this Zoom link on public groups. Please, only share this link to your contact and prospect. Do not go and share these links on public groups. That is how all kind of people join this session and start to distract all of us. Please take note about that. Only share our Zoom links or whichever Zoom link you want to invite people to join. Share it only on private groups and your contacts. Thank you. Now, let's move on to the differences between bull tactics category 1 and 2. Bull tactics category 1, let's talk about bull tactics category 1 first. It makes you money only uptrend. It does not make you money downtrend. Yes. It makes you money only on the uptrend. Uptrend. It does not make you money downtrend. Okay, let me use downtrend. It doesn't make money for a downtrend. The X means it does not make money. So please just understand. That's why I use X. But when it is selling, it will sell and give you whatever take profit you're using of your 100% capital. So let's say your capital is 666 for this Magic 5. If your take profit is 3%, it will give you 3% of your 100% capital. That is what this bull tactics category 1 means. How about the bull tactics category 2? It makes you money uptrend and downtrend, but the downtrend is to a certain level. Yes, it is to a certain level, but the bull tactics category 1 will make you more money than the bull tactics category 2, especially when the market is super bullish. That is the difference between the bull tactics category 1 and 2. So before you make use of bull tactics category 1, make sure you know the condition that when the market, the price of that coin you're trading with bull tactics category 1, when it is going down, you will not make money on sub sales because it will make money for you downtrend. But when it starts to go back up to hit the final take profit, it will make you whatever final take profit you're using of your total capital of your 100% capital, making you more profit. That is the difference between bull tactics category 1 and 2. But how do you now make use of this bull tactics category 1? Please pay attention. You go and edit the margin configuration of the settings. Let's say, for example, you want to trade a coin with the bull tactics category 1. Once you load that settings on that coin, quickly go and edit the margin configuration, and then you change for Magic 5. You change the fifth call, margin call drop, whatever is here. In this case, it is 0.2. You change it to edit it to what? 50%. The reason for this is because you only want the robot to buy the first buy down to the fourth call because you don't want it to make money for you downtrend. Remember, I started and explained this part where it says that you won't make money when you are making money downtrend from the fifth call. Sorry, when you are making money from the fifth call, it is making money for you downtrend, which is single entity, right? So for the bull tactics category 1, I said you won't make money downtrend. So this should ring a bell that, okay, that means it won't buy the fifth call downward. So for you to stop it from buying the fifth call for bull tactics category 1, when you load the settings on that coin, quickly edit the fifth call under margin configuration and change this margin call drop to % so that it won't buy and you can have that capital to do what we call manual replenishment. The leftover capital, the capital that is supposed to be used to buy the fifth call downward, is what you now use to do your manual replenishment, which is manual buy. By doing manual buy, you are adding all the capital back to the first buy to the fourth positions so that it will take everything as 100% capital here. And when it wants to sell, it will combine everything and sell once. That is what this bull tactics category 1 means. then you need to take note of the leftover capital. And how do you easily get the calculation? It's very easy to know how much leftover capital from the fiscal downward you need to use to do your manual buy. Once the robot picks up your trade, once your trade is up and running, open the trade, tap on buy. I talked about this on our previous session, okay? Tap on buy, tap on market price, input the leftover capital, and then you confirm. Now, to get the leftover capital, you add up this plus this plus this plus you get plus 1, and then multiply by the first buy, which is 20. Okay, Coach Aminu, please take out the numbers. These numbers, take him out. These numbers, just search, you find the name, take him out as well. Thank you. Now let's do the maths, please. Let's do the maths. $1.6 plus 6.5 plus 1.6 plus 6.5. It will give you 16.2. 16.2 plus 1 will give us 17.2. When you do this, please cancel everything. Don't just multiply by 20. It will not give you the right answer. Take note. Take note about the figures you got. 17.2. You cancel. And it says 17.2 multiplied by 20 will give you 344. 344. This means that 344 is the capital that will be used to buy the first buy down to the fourth call. So for you to know this, it's very easy for you to know the leftover capital. How? You say 666 minus 344. How did I get 666 again? That is the capital on that coin. 666 minus 344 will give us what? 666 minus 344 will give us what? 322. So 322 will now be the leftover capital where you used to do, or what you used to do, the manual buy or manual replenishment. Simple and clear. I hope this is well understood. Now, this is for the bull tactics category 1. How about the bull tactics category 2? It will make you money downtrend to a certain level. Now, that certain level, I mean, it will make you money down to the 10th call. You stop it from buying the 11th call. And then you edit and write 50%. 50%. The leftover capital to be used to buy the 11th call down to the 24th call is what you use to do your manual buy, to be added to the first buy down to the 4th call. Which means from the 5th call down to the 10th call, it will make money for you downtrend. Okay? So how do you get the calculation of the leftover capital? It is almost the same process with the bull tactics category 1. But in this case, you are adding up 1.6, the multiple buying ratio. You start from the first to the what? To the 10th call. You add up everything, multiple buying ratio, from the first to the 10th call. Whatever you get, you add up everything plus 1, then multiply by 20. When you get the figures, you now say 666 minus what you get to give you your leftover capital to be used to do your manual replenishment. I hope that is well understood. Please, Coach Aminu, take out Mike Hunt. Mike Hunt. Thank you. I hope for the bull tax category 2, it is clear. Now let's go to Magic 3. How do you make use of bull taxes category 1 and 2? It's unfortunate for the Magic 3 that you can only make use of the bull tactics category 1. You cannot make use of the bull tactics category 2 on Magic 3. On Magic 3. So how do you do so? You go to your margin configuration again. Since it is 7 margin call limits on Magic 3, we are only going to stop it from buying the second call downward. So it means that on the second call, you can't have here, which is 5, and you change it to 50%. We don't want it to buy the second call downward. Because it will be very difficult for a coin to go deep by minus 50% right now. And the reason for this is to quickly do your manual buy before it will buy. So you mean just go deep by 50%? No. We are just stopping it from buying the second call so that I can use the leftover to do your manual buy or manual replenishment. So in this case, how do we know the leftover capital? Very easy. Whatever you have here plus 1, multiply by first buy. First buy for Magic 3 is 15. It is 15. So let's do the math now together. Let us do the math together. 2.3 plus 1 will give you 3.3. So cancel again. 3.3, remember to cancel everything to clear everything. 3.3 multiplied by 15 will give you 49.5. 200 is the capital here. 200 minus 49.5 will give you what? 150.5. Forget about the 0.5. Use your 150 to do your leftover capital, to do your manual replenishment or manual buy. 150. Forget the 0.5. You don't need to put 0.5. I hope that is clear for Magic 3. For Magic 1, it's the same process with Magic 5. Magic 1 is the same process with Magic 5. For Bull Tactics Category 1, you stop it from buying the 5th call. For Bull Tactics Category 2, you stop it from buying the 11th call. Simple as that. The same process with Magic 5. Now, the final question, how do you combine both default and Bull Tactics to maximize your profit? Let's say you're trading 3 coins. 2 coins should be on default. Let me name it D. Coach Amino, please take out Bendover. I don't know who are these people. Bendover. Okay, if you're trading 3 coins, you trade 2 coins on default and 1 coin on Bull Tactics Category 1. But you can as well use Bull Tactics Category 2. But we always recommend you to use Bull Tactics Category 1. It all depends on you. It all depends on you. But what we recommend is trade 2 coins on default and 1 coin on Bull Tactics Category 1 settings. If you are trading 4 coins, you trade 2 on default and 2 coins on Bull Tactics Category 1. If you are trading 5 coins, you trade 3 coins on default and 2 coins on Bull Tactics Category 1. If you ask me why are we doing it this way, it's because the market is not controlled by anyone. Even in the bull season, people take profit. So what happens when there's a dip in the market? The default settings will be making you more money, while the bull taxes will just be waiting patiently until the price recovers back up to sell and make you your profit. So the default settings will make you money downtrend, while the bull taxes will make you money uptrend. I hope this is well understood. Please, if you have any question, feel free to ask your question. Feel free to ask your question. Feel free to ask your questions. Let me go to the chat section to see if there are questions there. Let me see. Okay, I can see a question from King Lee. He said, is the template going to be posted on the group chat, please? No, not on this group chat, but it will be shared across all the groups you got the Zoom link from. Take note about that. All the group you got the Zoom link from is where the template is going to be shared. Okay, so you can also request for it from your upline or on the group. I can see another question from, sorry about the messages being dropped by these scammers. Please, I think we may need to just change the Zoom link to a new Zoom link. I think I'll work on that. So I'm heading more down to see if there are questions. Somebody is asking, where is Bull 1 and 2? Please watch the recording of this session, you understand. Okay? It is not on the template. You are only modifying the margin configuration, okay? The Bull Tactics Category 1 and 2, we were supposed to add it to the template, but for now, just use what I showed you guys. You have to modify the margin configuration, just how I showed you guys. So have a rewatch on the recording to understand better. It seems there are no further questions for now. No, we cannot unblock the template. The reason is not so that people will not tamper with the settings. Just make use of the column. The right column will allow you to edit your capital, which is a remark. When you tap on another column, you won't be able to use that column because it is locked. Only use the right column you are to edit your capital with. I hope your question has been answered, Mashima. Yes, the recorded session is going to be shared tonight. I will ensure I share that tonight so that you guys will have a rewatch on it. So do we have any other questions? I'm not seeing questions based. What is the group address? Craving Morehead. This name again sounds like a scammer. He's raising up his hand. I don't understand what you're referring to, King Craving. Please, can you drop your question on the chat? Can you drop your question on the chat? I don't want to give you a co-host because your name sounds like a scammer, but let me allow you to unmute your mic. You can unmute your mic, please, and ask your question. Your question is not that clear. Please feel free to unmute
G'day,
your
how you
mic.
doing?
King Craving.
Hello?
Okay,
You
yes,
there?
I can. Yes, I can hear
Thank
you loud
you.
and clear.
Oh, cool. I was just wondering what the website address of the project was.
What project, please? Are
Oh,
you
so
referring to?
what? Well, how do you sign up for this? Is this a trading platform?
Yes, this is a trading platform. Please, you can get back to share the link with you. I believe somebody must have dropped the link on which of the group you belong to. Get back to that person to tell you more about the business model, how the business works. I hope that is clear.
Do they have a website? Sorry, that's what I'm asking. Do you have a website?
Yes, we have a website. We have every information you need, but you need to reach back to whoever shared the link on the group.
Is it all
Then you
about
can ask
recruitment?
more questions.
Is it all about
No, it
recruitment
is
then?
not. No, please. This is a trading boat.
Why
Recruitment
can't you
is
tell
not
me?
based on
Why can't you
recruitment.
tell me the website so I can have a look at it?
Okay, it's going to be dropped on the group. I'll share the link on the group. Just check
All right.
the group, the chats group. I'll
where's
share the
this?
link. So you can go through the
Whereabouts
link.
is this
And,
company? Whereabouts is this company
Singapore.
registered? Excuse me.
The origin is Singapore. The origin is Singapore, but they have a license in the United States.
Can you give me the license number, please?
Sorry, I won't be able to do that now. I will only share you the link because we have more questions to be answered. Just check the website.
Well, I think if I can't ask questions without being pushed off the stage, it sort of sounds a bit scammy to me. Just saying, I'm asking you a pretty serious question. You're asking me to invest and trust you with my money, and now you're telling me it's registered in Singapore, but it's registered in the UK. So how do I find out the history of the company and who's behind it? Like who's the CEO?
Okay, Kravin, one thing you need to understand here, this is a trading robot where you are not giving your money to the robot. Everything is done in your exchange. So you really do not need to bother yourself about where it was registered, because this is not a Ponzi scheme where you have to give them your
they all say
money.
that though, don't they? Have you got any proof of trades that you can show me on the network?
This is AI
Please,
auto reply.
let me take this person out. Let me take him out. He's just here to waste our time, okay? He's just here to waste our time, please. Sorry about that. Let me check for more questions. If we have more questions, let me see. The guy is a scammer, so please take him out, King Amina.
I've done that. I've done that.
Awesome. All right, so I can see. Yes, I'm not giving him any information again, so that they're not going to use it to start scamming people. So please remove him. All right, now let me quickly check on the group. I can see, please, if I'm trading with $300 with Magic 3, can I trade 2 coins for default and 1 bull? If you have $300, you can trade 1 default and 1 bull, and you can as well trade 3 coins, 100 each. All depends on you. Okay, but understand, we said trade 3 coins, 2 default and 1 bull. But if you understand what you're doing, why not? You can trade 2 coins, 1 on default. Ensure you have default running, please. Don't go and put all the money on only bull. Ensure. So yes, you can trade 1 on default and 1 on bull, but highly recommended to trade 3 coins. So take note about that. Okay, let me see. Okay, for $1,000, like I said, it seems you did not join earlier enough. For $1,000, divide by 3. You will notice that the capital to make use of is going to be for Magic 1 settings. just divide it by 3 and you use magic wand settings. Ensure you follow the instructions. Okay, I showed you guys. Input the right capital on the template and it will generate the settings for you. I hope that is clear. Do we have any other question? Do we have any other question? Okay, another question saying, what is the best 3 coins to trade? Now, this is a very good question. We don't have best 3 coins to trade. We don't have best coins to trade. Nobody controls this market. The only thing you should be careful of not doing is jumping on coins that are pumping. Just follow instructions, what you're learning, and use that instructions to trade. Don't go and see any random coin on Rqtmi. I just go and trade it because it is pumping. What if they delist it? In fact, I focus on some specific coins, which we have coins that are not coins that can just be easily delisted on Binance or Bybit. So take note about that. How will you know your margin calls has been used up? Yes, it will show you on the coin you're trading. When you open it, you see the number count of margin calls. If it bought 1 margin call, you see 1 there written. If it bought 5 margin call, you see 5 written there. I hope that is clear. Please questions before we call it a day. We first spent more time tonight, so more questions, please. More questions, please. All right, so seems there are no questions for now, so we can end this session. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for staying to the end of this session. We normally do this every Friday, please. Every Friday, so watch out for the recording so that you have a rewatch and then you come back next week Friday. If there's something that is not clear that I said, please come back next week Friday to ask your question. Bye-bye from this side and have a lovely night rest.